speaker is none other than Mr. Taha Halabi from Resecurity, who's a software engineer at Resecurity. Mr. Taha is a renowned software engineer, blockchain, full-stack developer, and a computer vision engineer. He has tons of experience working with international companies in various roles as a CTO, team leader, and large-scale projects for universities, American University of Technology, AUT. So over to you, Mr. Taha.
So hello and welcome. My name is Taha Halabi, Client Relations Manager at Resecurity. And also I'm software and security engineer. I'm also a full stack blockchain developer and computer vision engineer. So I worked before in my development journey career as a full stack developer. These are some of the technical fields that I worked before. We have Web3, blockchain, NFT, web mobile, augmented reality. I'm also interested in gaming, machine learning development, and also I'm application security engineer. So what I will talk today, I also help in getting funds and investments for American company. I worked before with American companies, European companies, so you can say I have more than 6 years of experience in the development and security career. I will talk today about the defensive side, secure coding against hackers. Not also this. What I want to tell you is that when, let's say, I will tell you like we have XSS injection in our application, it's not just to provide you a solution, but also I will provide you a powerful strategy and lifetime solutions. So if you are working in a company like Facebook, Google, your application will have more than 1,000 requests, 5,000 requests. So providing a solution is not good. I will provide you a powerful strategy and lifetime solutions so you can use in any big applications that you will work on. And it will save also time. Here is my topic. I will explain and show some examples and some vulnerabilities, including XSS, IDOR, SQL injection. Also, will provide you security solutions for each vulnerability, and the powerful strategy and lifetime solutions, and how to avoid development errors, and we'll talk about the authentication methodology. So before beginning, let me tell you some important info about development. What is development? Like what is developer? Development is not just writing code. Anyone in the world can learn, can open Google, can write PHP code, a Node.js code. This is not enough. And what is the difference between professional developer and expert developer? I worked before with more than 100 developers over the world, worldwide. So I saw many developers before. They are a professional, but they can't work in a big companies like Facebook. They don't have enough experience. Let me show you example. If I told you, provide me XSS solution, like my application is suffering from XSS. So provide me a solution. When I will see you how you will implement this solution inside my application, so here I will know if you are a professional and expert. Let's say you have application more than 50 post requests. And your team members, let's say you have 50 members in your team. So you know how to solve XSS, but 49 members in your team don't know anything about XSS. So if you gave them a task, they may not implement your solution. So this is your problem, not your teammate problem. So what I will show you today and explain is that how you can make a methodology, a strategy that even some of your teammates don't know anything about security, your application will stay secure. And this is what I will explain today. I will begin with XSS, cross-site scripting. It's a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to compromise the interactions that users have with a vulnerable application. We have 3 types of XSS: reflected, stored, DOM-based XSS. The reflected where the main malicious script comes from the current HTTP request. The stored one where the malicious script comes from the website's database. And this is a most danger one. We have the DOM-based where the vulnerability exists in client-side code rather than server-side code. So, this application, I'm showing you screenshots. I developed it like, let's say, 3 years ago. So everything I will show you screenshots. These are my old work, very, very old work. So here I have, on the left, we have username Tarek. This is the attacker. He injected this code script alert document.cookie in the description field. So now, when he click on this button, add offer, and he injected his code, malicious code here, this malicious code is stored in the database. So any user will enter to this page, to this URL, he will get like alert. Now I told you the problem, and I showed you where it exists in my application. So now I will provide you the solution. How to prevent XSS? We have many methods. I will talk just about the most important one. We have something called filtering. We need to filter any input that user will submit and focus on the back-end filtering, not on the front-end filtering. Because if you are working on a website, you can make a nice validation on the front end, but what if the user, instead of interacting on your website, he opened Postman, Perpetuate, so that front-end validation is like useless. So you need to focus on the back-end validation. Here, I'm showing you example from Java, HTML, PHP, and the second one is from a Node.js, JavaScript. So we have a function in PHP called strip_tags. This will filter and remove any, will remove any HTML element. Like we remove this script, will remove any HTML element. So this is filtering. And in JavaScript, we have a function called .trim.escape. It will also make the filtering. And now I will begin explaining the methodology. Like if I have 500 post requests, I cannot copy this solution and paste it to all my 500 post requests. It will take time and it's not a professional way. So, I will begin explaining about the methodology. We have something called middleware. What is middleware? Please, can you hear? Hello? Okay. So, what is middleware? Let me show you an example. Here on my right hand, this is a request. This is a user. So, user will click on the, let's say, post comment button. So a post request will be sent. Post request is now going from my right to left. And this, my left hand, is a response. So before reaching my response, there is a wall. So it will stuck on my wall. This is the middleware. Middleware is a function that acts between the request and the response. Inside it, I will put my XSS solution. So this code that we are seeing, strip_tags, trim escape, filtering, I will put it inside the middleware. And like so, the request will go to my middleware, it will be filtered completely, then it will go to the response. So if any error happened, if anything happened, I can, as a middleware, reject my request. And this will help my application to be more secure. And I didn't finish now yet. So middleware, using it alone is useless. We need to use it with something called routing group. So what is routing group? Here we have routing group, we have XSS middleware protection, and let's focus on this. Here I have /users/proposals, these are two post requests, and slash users slash add slash edit slash proposals slash add slash edit. So what I made is that all my get and post requests inside my application, I put them under one routing group. They are now all put it under one routing group. And this routing group is connected to the XSS middleware protection. So, and all my post requests are connected to XSS middleware protection, and my XSS middleware protection is connected to the routing group. So now my application will be secure and I save time. Like, if now one of my team member, he don't know anything about security, he will just write like a new post request, new get request here, slash users, slash proposals. I can put like a sign up, login, so he will work on the right. And on the left, I made the strategy. So even if he doesn't know anything about security or about vulnerabilities, my application will stay secure. I worked before with a French company. We were like more than 20 members in the team. And usually we were like 3 guys who know security. And I developed this strategy and our application stays secure. So sometimes I cannot blame any developer why you don't know like XSS, why because of you we got hacked. I can't blame him. I need to blame myself why I didn't make a nice strategy. Why? So that is the difference between professional and expert. Professional will know the solution, but expert will know how to implement it in a very smart way. Here is an example in the Laravel and in the Node.js about middleware with routing group. So this is a PHP code on Laravel. I have route group and middleware. XSS sanitizer is my XSS validation. And all my get and post requests are connected to the XSS sanitizer, and XSS sanitizer is connected to the routing middle group. And here another example. This is a Node.js code. So I have app.group. This is a grouping, and at the end I have XSS sanitizer. So any post request or get request will be inside, it will be protected. Now I will talk about broken access control. What is the broken access control? Broken access control vulnerabilities exist when a user can in fact access some resource or perform some action that they are not supposed to be able to access. So let's say I have a website and the organization or association can create a course, but the course will be submitted to the admin first, to the admin department to review. So admin can accept or reject my course. But what if the attacker was able to get the course ID? So he will be able to send post request including rejection parameter or accepting parameter. So course is rejected by the attacker. This is an example about broken access control. So here is a screenshot of an old application I developed 3 years ago. I'm here adding a new course. And now my course is pending exception from admin. And the attacker, he can use Persuade, Postman, like any application that will help him to send post request. He is now sending post request to this URL to reject, and here he is using my course ID. So let's see the result. My course got rejected, and I receive a notification that admin rejected your course. But it's not an admin. This is from the attacker. So now I will tell you how to solve this problem and how to implement the solution in my strategy. First of all, you need to check if the user is authenticated to make the following action: accepting or rejecting the course, any course. Our application is too big, so we will use now our smart solution. So I have here my routing group. And instead of using one middleware, which was the XSS middleware protection, I will use another middleware, which is the OAuth middleware, authentication middleware. So currently my application connected to two middlewares. All my routing, all my post and get requests are connecting to two middlewares. And two middlewares are connecting to the same routing group. So we have XSS, we have the authentication. This now is example in PHP Laravel. So I have first middleware, XSS. I have now second middleware, check if admin. So check if admin will check if if I is authenticated or not. And we have three routings, get and two post request. Second one for to accept a course. And the third one is to reject. Currently I'm using a graph API. I guess a RESTful API, not a graph API, it's fine. So I implement the solution in our strategy. This will save time. Now I will talk about IDOR, insecure direct object. They are a type of access control vulnerability that arises when an application uses user-supplied input to access objects directly. Let's see now where is this vulnerability exist in my app. So we have here organization or association create a graphic design course. Course submitted to graphic designer department to review. Like here in my application, I have many departments. Like I have the programming department, let's say engineering department, a graphic design department. And what happened is that admin from another department got the course ID and was able to reject it. So admin now is authenticated, but the problem, he don't have the right permission to reject my course. He is from another department, but he was able to accept or reject a course from another department. So here I added a course, and here admin from another department was able to accept or reject it. Now I will talk about the solution. So XSS middleware is fine, authentication middleware is fine, but it's missing some important thing, which is I need also to check if the user has the right permission. Maybe if I you are authenticated on my application, but you don't have the right permission. So I guess if you used Facebook business, some big applications like that, you can create a page and you can add privileges. So you have an admin, you have super admin, you have like manager, you have simple user, you have guest, you have employee. So you can provide permissions to your application. So I will add another middleware. It's connected to the authentication middleware that will check if the attacker or admin have the right permission to accept or reject. Here is an example on PHP Laravel. And sorry, like I provided most of my examples were on PHP, but it's fine. It's the same logic in Node.js, C#, ASP.NET, no worries. So we have at the top XSS middleware. Second one, check if admin. Third one is courses right permission check. So in the third one, I am checking if the admin has the right permission to accept or reject. So let's now, if I asked you a question, like let's say I need you to provide me a solution for, let's say, race condition, for rate limit. So everything now is protected, is organized, and is secure. So it's now very easy to work with a big team, to work within a big company. We made before the strategy, and now we are using it. Now I will talk about SQL injection. It's a web security vulnerability that allows an attacker to interfere with the queries that an application makes to its database. It generally allows an attacker to view data that they are not normally able to retrieve. And we have many, here I will list some SQL injection, like many types, like retrieving hidden data, union attacks, examining the database. Here is a simple example about it. So I have a query, select all from users table where user ID, concatenation with the user ID. So here we have concatenation. So the text user ID is supposed to be the user ID. And this like what we guess. But what if the attacker makes this user ID like instead of 105, he put 1 equal 1. And usually 1 equal 1 is a true. So what is this? Let's see. So select all from users where user ID equal 105 or 1 equal 1. So he injected, this is the user ID 105, and here or 1 equal 1, so you can say or true. So what will happen is that attacker now can get all my users' info because 1 equal 1 is a true. So how to solve this? So in order to solve SQL injection, and I will not also talk about the solution. When you are working with any application, and you will work with SQL database, MySQL, try to avoid using concatenation, because concatenation is like a useless solution. And sometimes if you have a big query, like 10 lines of a query, concatenation is useless, and also you can say it's not like a stupid solution. So you will use something called SQL parameters for protection. So here, this is my query. Select all from users where user ID equal parameter 0. Where is this parameter? How can I give it a value? Check here another example. Insert into customers, customer name, address, city, values. So here, I can put my first parameter, second parameter, and third parameter. And usually in programming, we start from 0, not 1. So 0, 1, 2. And if you continue here, so we have db.execute. This is the first one, variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, variable 4, and that's it. So in order to solve SQL injection, we need only to use SQL parameters. Also, we have another solution which is using powerful validation for users' parameters. So here I have title, and the title, its size is 12. I can also add another validation, it should be only string. So if the attacker tried to, let's say, put numbers in title, it will not work. Also, if you remember, my application before, like I put before XSS sanitizer. So it's now protected from XSS. And this validation will be done after the XSS middleware. So this code will be at the response, not at the middleware. So I'm making a validation about title. If he has some HTML elements, it will be like filtered by the XSS middleware. Here I have another example, like integer, size 10, tags like array, size 5. So attacker will face now like hard problems to try to inject SQL injection to my application. And here is an example in the Laravel. Has appointment, it can be required, and it can be just Boolean, true or false. It can't be no string, no numbers, no integers. We have also the date. We can like make some in Laravel exclude if has appointment, false required, and it's only date. So if the attacker put the date as a string, try to put integers, will not work. We have also the third one, it's required string. So we learned for SQL injection, we need to use SQL parameters, not concatenation, and we need to use powerful validation for user parameters. So now I have my routing group, it's connected to middleware's XSS, authentication middleware, and now it's connected to strong validation. Strong validation is not a middleware. The code, we will write it as a response, it's fine. Now I will talk about brute force. What is a brute force? Brute force attack is when an attacker uses a system of a trial and error in an attempt to guess valid user credentials. So let's say I have a login form, email and password, and the attacker can as my brother was talking, Ahmed Halabi, he talked about the brute force. So he can try to guess what is the correct password and what is the correct email, and he can make automation tools that will make all of this. Like let's say I developed, myself, I developed before automation tool. And my automation tool, it will go to any website, go to any login form, and will send let's say more than 1,000 post requests, including different email and password. So I'm brute forcing. So how to solve this problem? First of all, the most important solution is using rate limit. So what is the rate limit? Let's say if you used Facebook a lot, and if you were trying to log in, he will tell you if the password is incorrect, just try after 15 minutes. You only have 5 attempts, you only have 3 attempts. So this is a rate limit protection. So here a client, he tried 3 times and he failed to obtain a login attempts. So the server responded too many requests, you can't send any request more. Is this an example from a Node.js application I developed before? So I have create account login limiter, and here's the rate limit. I can put maximum, and just I can let's say in each hour, in 1 hour you have just 5 times to try. And if you failed in these 5 times, you need to wait 1 hour. And here, of course, I can put a message like too many accounts created from this IP. This message that will appear for the attacker or for the user. And now I'm using post request. So I'm injecting middleware create account limiter. I'm injecting this function or this middleware here in my post request. And this is our diagram. We have the routing group, middlewares. We have XSS middleware explained before. We have authentication middleware explained before with the right permission. And now we have the rate limit middleware. So now my application is connected to 3 middlewares. And if everything is fine, it will go to the response. Now I will talk about a vulnerability that many developers don't know about it. And even they forget about it. So it happened with me before. I told my team member, it was my friend, I told him, so you finished your application, please upload it to production mode, from the development mode to production mode. And he was doing great. He uploaded it to my server, but he forgot that if the attacker was trying to enter to URL/admin/backup, trying to obtain some directory listing, he tried to hide this. So currently the attacker entered to /admin/backup. He will now see all my files. And here is the question, what if I have a very important file contain a private key? So I'm in danger. How to solve this problem? Usually we have many types of server. The 2 famous ones are you can say, we have Nginx. We have also a HTTP server, I guess its name. Nginx, we have for the PHP, I forgot its name. Yes, its name is Apache Web Server. This is very famous, and most of the server companies will use Apache. So we have in any PHP project, even if it is Symfony, Laravel, simple PHP, we need to add, we need to find our htaccess. What is htaccess? Htaccess is our website configuration file. So inside it, I need to add this line of code, options-indexes. So when I will add this line of code, it will solve this problem. So if the attacker entered to this URL, he will not find anything. And now I'm protected. And we have also another example for Nginx web server. So in Nginx, it's different. You can directory indexing is disabled by default in Nginx, so you do not need to configure anything. But in case it was enabled by, like let's say, maybe employee, maybe he is stupid, or maybe he was working and forget to turn it off, and it happened because usually most of the employees I worked before, they are not expert, they are careless, they don't care about this, and attacker will be happy. And you can say sometimes I will be happy if the developer make a problem because I also work as a security engineer. So you just need to open the Nginx config, and you will find something called auto index and it's on. So just you need to switch it to off, and that will solve your problem. So here the solution is very simple. Like it's just like changing from on to off. But the problem is that some developers are careless, and some of them, like they thought that they are secure. They don't review. We need in every task we are creating before going to production mode. Like we need to forget about something called development. Like I can leave it on only on my laptop in order just to make debugging. But when I will upload it to a server, to the production mode, this is a different. Attacker will be happy to any problem I will make. Now I will talk about SQL transactions. Usually SQL transactions will help in security, and you can say always use SQL transactions when you want to update many tables in one function. Of course, you can use triggers. We have SQL transactions and SQL triggers. But if my server don't support my PHP admin, let's say, or another database, don't support SQL transactions, or don't support triggers, so I will use SQL transactions. So I developed application before. I was sending money to user. So let's say I'm sending it like $50. I need also, after sending and after updating his table, after updating his balance, I need also to add this information to the history table. So I have two tables. First one is for the users. Second one is history table. So how I will make this? What if I was adding money to users, like it failed, an error occurred? So does my code will continue to the second query? Of course not. Someone of you will tell me use try catch, use if else. It's useless if I want to update 10 tables or 100 tables. So I will use a ready function called SQL transactions. So if any error happened in any query I'm working on, so it will like reject and it will not update any table. Like here, let's say I have 10 tables, and as a sixth table, sixth table cause an error. So it will stop. It will, even if it was updating the old tables, it will remove everything, will not update any table. And the SQL transactions may be hard if you are a new developer, but it's the very best solution. Now I will talk about improper error handling. Before, in the companies that I worked, usually, like I worked with many developers, they don't use try catch, they don't use if else. So if any error occurred, it will like appear for the attacker. So it's fine. This can be only done if I am working on my personal laptop. But when I will switch to the production mode, I don't need like to provide these errors for the attacker. And usually Ahmed Halabi is praying to let the developers always make mistake, because these mistakes will help him a lot. So how to avoid this problem? In any framework you will use, app debug should be false in the production mode. So in each application, if you are working PHP, a Laravel, Python application, like a Node.js application, you will find some parameter called app debug. Usually this you will find inside the environment file. Like in each application, you need to make sure you have some file called env. It's environment configuration file. So just you need to find the app debug. If it is equal true, just put it as a false. That's it. It's a very simple solution. And if an error happened in your application, it will not be shown for the attacker. Usually, regarding improper error handling, I made before an application, and if any error occurred, I will be able to make a screenshot from the user device and will send it to my database. So I will know like what exactly the attacker or where exactly the user was viewing when the error made. This is a very simple example. Here we are trying to open my test file .txt, and when my application didn't find it, he showed me an error, and this you can say led to information disclosure. And here I'm using if else, so I will just put if else, and if an error happened, I can use die function, and show a custom message by me. Here another example using a Node.js JavaScript. So I'm using try catch. So if an error happened, I can just put error occurred and don't show any information. And here also another example, and it's a Web3 smart contract, not Web2. So here I'm trying to make a new contract, and I'm using, let's say, I'm checking here if I'm owner, and if any error happened in my Web3 code, so here I will catch it, and will just put console.log and return response with error, but will not show any information, because Web3 is very dangerous. It's not like Web2. It's too big to work with it. So also we have here some information disclosure at GitHub. Like before I worked with a company, we finished our code, and one of my teammate or one of my team member was trying to push the code on GitHub. And he told me, no worries, we are secure because our code on GitHub is private, not public. So what he made is that after 1 month, he switched from private to public on GitHub. And the stupid employee forget that this environment file contain a server private key and contain a server code. So currently, not only the attacker is seeing this on my GitHub, all the people in world and maybe all the people in space or from different planets are seeing this private info for me. And this is really a danger. So you need always to avoid pushing the .env file or any secret file you have when pushing on GitHub. This should be auto-generated. And now, my last topic, I will talk about secure your application by using JWT, Passport, or Sanctum. As I told you before, I'm a full stack developer. I combined many technologies together, like mobile development with, let's say I have a Flutter mobile code or Java Swift mobile code. I will combine it with PHP code, with a Node.js code, through, of course, an API. So let's say I have mobile app and I have like authentication inside it, log in and sign up. So we have something simple, it's called session authentication. Just like you will try to work with cookies in order to make sure the users are authenticated, but this is a very useless solution. So we have something called JWT, Passport, Laravel, Sanctum. So I will give you example how these three are working. We have a browser. You can, like, instead of browser, put mobile app. First of all, I am sending post request with the username and password. And let's say I'm creating my account. So when my account will be created, there is a JWT secret token will be created. As the secret token will be returned in the response, as a response. So in order to make any other request and in order to be authenticated, I will send the token that generated by a JWT or Passport, I will send it as the authorization header. So my server now will see this token. If this token exists in our data, in our my database, so it's mean I'm authenticated. And then I will return response to the client. Here is just a simple example. What is the benefits? So that, let's say, I noticed that there was a user and it's the attacker. I can just destroy his session. I will destroy his session by just deleting his token. I can also get the user info from this token if I have a mobile app, and it will help a lot. And it's usually hard for the attacker to obtain user's token. All authenticated post requests are protected. Users can only use them if he provided me his token. So here is a just very simple example. This is a Flutter code. I'm getting the security token from a local database in Flutter, and I'm now putting it inside the request authorization barrier token. And I'm sending here my post request. So we have routing group middlewares. Instead of authentication, we have auth middleware, JWT or Passport or Sanctum. And at the bottom, we have the XSS, we have the rate limit. That's everything. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to ask me any question if you want.
Thank you, Taha. Interesting concept and strategies that you explained to us. So, what do you think, when you develop a massive application, let's say Facebook, other things, you have millions of lines of code. Obviously, you also have a lot of developers. So, how can you manage these large teams and these large amounts of code? Like, do you think there should be a solution integrated with the development side of things or the coding side of things? Like, for example, vulnerability scanning solutions. These are automated. Obviously, they will not find all the things, but if you, let's say, before pushing the code into production, it should pass that line. Like, you should do a vulnerability scan on it, find some vulnerabilities. If it will fail, it will not build, and so on. This is, I think, part of DevSecOps, I would call it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, your question is very important. So let's say I have application like Facebook, and it contains 10,000 requests, and like, let's say, more than 1,000 logic. First of all, before beginning with the application, I need to develop my strategies. So I need to put, let's say, put like 20 strategy. So each part of my app, let's say we have Facebook business, we have Facebook posting section, we have Facebook like creating a page. So Facebook posting section contain post, make a post, make a comment, post comment. So before writing any code, I will draw as a diagram. I will draw as a strategy. So now I will tell you, please make for me follow and follow like feature inside my Facebook application. So before writing any code, you will write on a paper or on your laptop, any website, you will draw its logic. We have rules. We have rules in development how to draw. So I will pass this draw example, I will pass it to my security team. Security team will check if this logic can be bypassed or not. After that, you will make this logic, begin making it, and you will follow the strategies that I explained before. So currently, this will help a lot in solving the problems. And after you finished, you will put like on GitHub, Bitbucket, like I can separate teams so that my security team will check if your logic is secure or not. And that is a most simple solution. Also, we have other solutions, but it's need time to explain.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Hey, thank you, Taha. WhatsApp is releasing the payment gateways. You have any idea on that?
Yeah.
So they are releasing the payment gateways. Basically, you can pay through WhatsApp to any of the, the end users or maybe to the companies they are coming up. but what kind of security strategy to be implemented for individual, because they directly have access to their bank accounts? Okay, so
Yes.
any good suggestions
Regarding
on that part?
exactly regarding payment gateways, first of all, when you are implementing payment gateway inside your application, like inside WhatsApp, inside Facebook, it's not your code. It's already code developed by the bank. The bank have, you can say, a system. I worked before with many payment gateways before, and I developed payment gateways from scratch. But nowadays, I'm only working with Web3 payment gateway, not with Web2 credit card payment gateway. So we have a logic. Its name is, first of all, you will obtain authenticated session. After authenticated session, you will use this session when you enter your credit card. So credit card, when you are entering, you cannot make a screenshot. You cannot, as you are as the owner of the application, you cannot copy it because you don't have access. It's just like a third party coming from outside source from the bank, and it's being like it will come inside your application. So everything is outsourced. So if any security problem happened here, you need to contact the bank, not the application. Because application, he just use the payment gateway. So no worries, everything is protected. It's like there is a combination of user ID, user session with a credit card number. So it's totally fine. It's third party, not something inside.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Any more questions? Okay. So now let me invite Mr. Jaizal to hand over the moment to Mr. Taha Halabi.